Okay, I'm going to call this pump the Mark IV. The previous iterations were polypipe, and I've decided to go for gal. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to see what the differences were, and I've used a conventional bladder type arrangement for the accumulator vessel instead of the polypipe with the foam pool noodle in it. What I've been trying to do is I've moved away from the swing check valve, which I don't have any here, because after about 2 months the first one flogged out on the waste valve side, and just due to the nature of the way that the thing operates, where there's a hinge and a flapping valve, there's a lot of areas for wear there, which I thought that the foot valve was a far better candidate for getting greater longevity out of. This particular pump, I've got approximately 5 meters of head in the drive pipe, and then I'm going up somewhere between 25 and 30 meters in the delivery pipe, which is a 16 mil square, just over ½ inch sort of size, this blue stripe stuff here, and it's coming down into 1 inch poly pipe. Rightio, so what I had tried was just a 1 inch foot valve, which is this style of valve. This one is 1 1/4, and the problem I was having with the 1 inch foot valve was that it would chatter and it would run so fast that there wasn't enough grunt to push the water out at the top. So by fitting a spring into that valve, I slowed the valve down considerably, and a ridiculous amount of water was coming out the top. So with the swing check valve, I was seeing approximately 700 litres a day at the top. And going to the foot valve, the 1 inch foot valve with a spring inside it, that went up to, it must have been well over 2,000 litres a day. Now, I'm only using this water for watering my garden over the summer months, so I don't really need a lot of water, maybe 500 litres a day. So in trying to figure out how these things were tunable, I decided that I'd go down to a smaller 3/4 inch in the hope that the aperture that the water was escaping from would offer sort of, less water coming out at the top. Let me just put this down for a second here. I need the tool, there we go. So this one, this 3/4 inch one, I've just fitted a spring that I got from the hardware shop. I have no idea what tension it is or what have you, and that's just a piece of rubber at the top just to pack it out a bit more. With this particular arrangement, I was seeing about 1,400 litres a day, which obviously didn't have the desired effect, because I'm still seeing too much water at the top, and it still seems to run at about 1 pulse every second. So my next port of call was to go up to a bigger size, and this is what I've done today. So this one has got no spring inside it, it's just a straight 1 1/4 inch foot valve. I'm not sure if the extra weight of the plunger is helping with the tempo, or if it's the water flow, or exactly what it is. I put this big boy 1 1/2 inch fella on there, and there was entirely, once again, too much water coming out of the top. It did slow it down considerably. So obviously every time that you slow the pump down, the pulse gets bigger, the quantity of water comes out at the top is more. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but yeah, it's interesting having fun trying to tune it. So basically this one is just a spring check valve here, and a selection of T's nipples and a barrel union with the accumulator vessel, which is off the Davy pump, 2 isolation valves, and the foot valve, which I think is also called the impetus valve, which is where the magic happens. So what I might do is just stop the pump and fit the other one so that you can have a sample of what the mossy rock, stay there, what the flow rate is like, or at least what the noise is like down at this end. Oh, come on, baby. I like the foot valves because there is an O-ring, it's obviously replaceable, that does the seating and the sealing instead of in the swing check valve where it's pretty much just metal on metal, although I must say the last one did have a like a rubber seal, but it didn't look like it was going to be something that I could just buy. The plumbing shop that sold me that particular fitting didn't have that as a part. There was no parts. These look much more like a conventional O-ring arrangement. Okay, so that's the 1.5 inch valve. And you can hear straight away that it's much slower. And as when I've used a more severe spring in the 1 inch and 3/4 inch sizes, when you slow the pulse rate down, which I was trying to do so that the wear and tear would be less on the pump, you get a hell of a lot more water coming out at the top. So yeah, there you go. There's some tuning tips for this particular application. It's a much nicer noise when it's going slower, I think. What do you think, brown dog? You can